Greetings, people. Yeah, I'm tapping in to speak about our 45th president uh, getting found guilty on 34 charges. And what I would like to say about that situation is I think that it's a great opportunity for both parties to bring about some real criminal justice reform because that's what's needed, especially when we got 19 million Americans with a felony on their record. And 61% of those people are black. And not to mention, we got over 6 million people who are just as impacted, who are disenfranchised and can't even vote. And Tennessee is a major player in that statistic. So I think that this is a good time for both parties to come together, to reach across the aisle and see what they can do as it relates to criminal justice reform. Because, enough is enough. And, I think it was divine intervention for our 45th president to be involved in a situation like this, because now it casts a major spotlight on justice impacted individuals and the inequality that goes with being a justice impacted person when race or power is involved. So, I know many Democrats who been speaking about, a convicted felon being a president, so on and so forth. But last I checked, this is the 30th anniversary of the 1994 crime bill that was enacted by a Democratic president, as well as our current president. So whole lot of collateral consequences came from that legislation. So I think it's a good time for our current president to correct his wrongs and the part that he played, because the legislation that was just passed here in Tennessee, where they're making it 100%, where people have to do their time if you are convicted of a violent offense. And I know people may say, yeah, that's necessary. However, if a person know that whether he do good or whether he do bad, he's still gonna have to do 100% of his time or their time, what makes you think that they are going to put forth any effort to be rehabilitated? So that's why that's not a good law. But that law stems from the 1994 crime bill, which they gave grants out to states to sentence people to 85% of their time. And like I said, I think it's a good opportunity for both parties to come together and come up with some real criminal justice reform, and also to implement a real second chance. And what I mean by a real second chance, I mean a second chance that don't have people hamstrung or handcuffed to over 100 collateral consequences. And some of those consequences are damaged relationships with your children. Also, when it comes to getting housing, when it comes to getting employment, when it comes to getting an education, when it comes to getting food stamps, and the list goes on. Where when you catch a felony, you forfeit all of those things. And to many of us, it's without our knowledge, because we don't even know that that's all the things that we're giving up. So, circling back to our 45th president, how many collateral consequences will he suffer from being a billionaire or, you know, a multi-millionaire. Probably not many. So my 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 I would say my plea for today is just to ask both sides, Democrats and Republicans, to take this moment to bring about some real criminal justice reform, because it's needed. And I don't think it's by coincidence that we are given this that we have a moment like this with a man of that much power running for the highest office in the land, and he's now a convicted felon. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think that's a higher power, a divine intervention trying to get our attention to look at the people who have basically been ostracized from everything. And I'm talking about justice impacted people. And I think it would be wise for any party to reach out to justice impacted people and try to bring them up under their tent. Because like I said, it's 19 million people who have a felony conviction. Now, could you imagine if you are able to help these individuals, and especially the 6 million who have been disenfranchised, where you can tap into a base like that, when you got 6 million people and 19 million people that you can bring up under your tent and probably have for the next 30, 40 years? Because y'all just don't know what it's like to be a justice impacted individual. But I'll give you an example. Because right now, with the climate that's going on and the conversation that's going on about a convicted felon becoming president, I can only look back to during Jim Crow, when blacks was looking for someone to speak to their self-interest, to things that they had near and dear to their heart. And probably year after year after year after decade after decade, no one reached out, or no one was trying to really remove the barriers that was in place for them to be successful in matriculating into this capitalistic society. So with that being said, that's the same thing going on right now. Because how many people are speaking out or trying to really remove barriers that's in place for justice impacted people? Except during election time, you know, people will throw a few things on a platform, but how many people are really trying to fight to help us get these barriers removed, to get collateral consequences removed from us so that we can get a real second chance? Because it's definitely not a second chance once you catch a felony and you get back out. We need a real leader to step up to the plate. And if our 45th president is smart, he will embrace being a convicted felon. He will embrace it, just like these people behind me. As you see, Nelson Mandela, he was a convicted felon and became president. So for all those who sitting there talking about you can't be a convicted felon and why can you be a convicted felon to be a president, here go one behind me. And you look at Obama, the first president to ever go inside a federal prison. Dr. King, he had over 61 charges, although they was misdemeanors. And then we got Malcolm X. We know his story. Went from a common criminal to the epitome of what black manhood is supposed to look like. And then you got myself back there. because I did life in prison, or had life in prison, did 20 summers inside the federal system. And now I'm out here advocating for justice impacted individuals. So with all that being said, I asked our 45th president to embrace being a convicted felon. And you'll be surprised at how many people will get on board with your cause or with your fight. Because this is a great opportunity for either party to tap into 6 million disenfranchised, justice impacted individuals and 19 million people with felonies on their that has a felony on their record. So what side of history are either party gonna be on? Because as I stated, this is the 30th year of the 1994 crime bill, and that legislation there did more harm to the black community than the only thing that probably could come close is slavery. So with that being said, y'all have a great day. And again, my plea is for both parties to come together and let's do something about removing these barriers from justice impacted individuals. Thank y'all for y'all time. Have a great day.